The Third Testament, Section 1, The Second Coming of Mashiach, Third Era of Revelation. Chapter 5, The Motive for the Divine Revelation, Yah's will that humanity be redeemed. If there was no ignorance on earth, no bloodshed, and no human misery or suffering, then there would be no reason for my Ruach spirit to materialize and make itself felt by you. However, you need me. I know that only my love can save you in these moments, and that is why I have come. If I did not love you, what would it matter to me if you were lost and in pain? But I am your Father, a father who feels the pain of his child, for each child is a particle of himself, and that is why I come to give you the light of truth, representing life for the Spirit in every one of my words and inspirations. Here I am among you, calling to your hearts. Do you think that my peace, shalom, is complete when I behold you in constant wars? For this I have come as a great warrior to fight against darkness and evil. With me have come as well as the spirits of good, the spiritual world, to consummate my work. How long will this fight continue? Until all my children have been saved. But I have not brought pain. I wish to transform you with love. My word will make men uncomfortable again, as it did in times past. But I shall tell you the truth, without accusing before others. I have called the hypocrite, the adulterer, and the wicked. The truth had been humiliated, and it was needful that it blaze forth just as now, when the truth has been hidden, and must therefore be raised again before the eyes of men. Not once but many times, and in various forms, I proclaimed and promised my new coming to my Talmudim, disciples. I prophesied the signs that would proclaim my coming, signs from nature, happenings among humanity, world wars, and sin at its greatest height, so that the world would not be confused, awaiting me again as a man. I made you know that Mashiach would come in a cloud, that is to say, in the Spirit. That promise is fulfilled. Here is the Master in spirit, speaking to the world. Here is the possessor of Shalom and the kingdom of light, come to build an ark of immense size, wherein all men may find refuge and be saved, as in the first times when Noah built the ark to rescue human seed. The form in which I've come to manifest myself in this time is different from that in the second era, but my purpose is the same, to save humanity, to keep it away from that whirlwind it has encountered in its path, and from which it has not been able to free itself. Temptation is unleashed with all its strength, and man has fallen like a weakened child, and has paid great penalties. He has drained the cup of bitterness, and in the midst of his confusion clamored for me, and the Father has been with him. Still in the chalice remains the dregs, but I shall help you to withstand these afflictions, which are the consequence of your disobedience. Blessed are you who hear me, for you shall be strong. But what shall others do when this great pain comes to them? Will their spirits succumb for lack of belief? The prayer of Yasharal must save them. I have come to seek you with infinite love. I have endowed your spirit with so much favor and so many gifts that I am not willing to lose any of my children. You are part of my being, of my spirit. Is it wrong to seek you with so much eagerness and love? When I descend to give you my word, always among the multitudes there are those who lag behind, and it is they who in their hearts hold the most questions. Yet I satisfy them, responding always to their questions. Today, those who lag ask the purpose of my new coming, to which I answer that the purpose is to enable men to return themselves to their original purity. The elimination of errors and superficial cults. The third era has fully arrived to humanity. Almost 2,000 years have passed since I came to give you my word. And that doctrine, in spite of the time past, is still not known to all humanity, because I am not loved by all my children. Still, all worship me, and all seek one single divine spirit, which is mine. Yet I do not see unity among men. I do not see among them the same belief, the same elevation, or the same knowledge. And it is for this reason that I come as the Ruach HaKodesh, Holy Spirit, to unify you in me, to perfect you with my doctrine of truth, with my immutable word, and with my Torah, law of justice and of love. The bewilderment of the mind, the lack of belief, the ignorance of truth are darknesses of the spirit, and it is therefore that humanity today finds itself lost. How those men who walk without knowing or caring where they go have multiplied. I knew that to men would have to come a time such as this, full of pain, confusion, uncertainty, and mistrust. I promised to come to save you from this darkness, and here you have me. I am the Spirit of truth. For what purpose do you want me again as a man? Do you not remember that as a man I died and said to you that I would wait for you in my kingdom? With this, I made you to understand that the Spirit is eternal and immortal. My word in this time comes to remind you of the past, to reveal the mysteries, and to proclaim that which is to come. It shall straighten what men have twisted and spoiled. For I, jealous of the truth, come with the sword of my zeal and my justice to throw down all that is false, to destroy hypocrisy and the lie, to expel again the money changers from the temple of truth. Understand that you do not have to seek in the books, the counsels, or the commandments of men the truth to reach your salvation. All of you are to be saved. I do not find one yet on firm ground. You are shipwrecked in the middle of stormy night, in which each one fights for himself without remembering his brother, because his own life is in danger. And truly I tell you, I am your only Savior. He who arrives one more time in search of those who have been lost, because they parted from the heading that is the law. I come to illuminate your course so that you may make land, that blessed land that awaits you, because in its breast infinite treasures for the Spirit are guarded. If in that time false interpretations of the divine mandates were made, in this time too my doctrine has falsified, and it was necessary that the Master come again to help you to leave your errors, since on your own very few are they who manage to free themselves of confusions. Certainly, from that time, I have promised that I would return, but also I said to you that I did so because I knew that a day would arrive when humanity, believing itself to live within the path of my teachings, would walk far from them. And this is the time that I proclaimed for my coming. In the second era, Mashiach, the same who is speaking to you in this instant, was made man and lived on the earth. But now you have him in the spirit, fulfilling a promise made by him to humanity, that of coming in a new time to bring you the supreme comfort and the light of truth, clarifying and explaining all that had been revealed to mankind. Humanity is disoriented, but I have come to lead them to the light of the Ruach HaKodesh, and so that they recognize my word for its essence. Over time, those scriptures left by my disciples have been altered by men, and for that reason are there divisions between the religions. But I have come to clarify all my teachings, to unify humanity in one single light and one single will. Today, a new era is opening for the world in which mankind will seek greater freedom for his thoughts, and in which he will struggle to break the chains of slavery that his spirit has been dragging behind him. It is the time in which you will see peoples break through the barriers of fanaticism in search of spiritual sustenance and true light. And I tell you that he who, for even an instant, comes to experience the happiness of feeling free to meditate, to scrutinize, and to practice, will never voluntarily return to his captivity, for his eyes will have beheld the light, and his spirit has been in ecstasy before the divine revelations. I knew that from generation to generation, men would mystify my doctrine, adulterating my law and falsifying the truth. I knew too that men would forget my promise to return, and that they cease to consider themselves as brothers in order to kill each other with the cruelest, most cowardly, and perverse arms. But the time and day appointed has come, and I am here. Do not judge the form in which I have chosen to communicate with you, for it is not the humanity which is to judge me, but I who am to judge the humanity, for this is the time of its judgment. I come to establish a kingdom in the heart of humanity, not a material kingdom, as many expect, but a spiritual one whose strength comes from love and justice, and not from the powers of the world. I see there are those who are surprised to hear me speak this way, and I ask them, why must you always imagine me robed in silk, gold, precious jewels? Why have you in all times wanted my kingdom to be of this world, when I had revealed the opposite to you? I already foretold to you that the struggle would be intense, for each believes his own religion to be perfect, and his compliance with it to be perfect. Yet I tell you that if that were true, I would not have had any reason to come to speak to you in this time. I am inspiring in you a doctrine that is fundamentally spiritual, for I see that paganism rules in your forms of worship, and that the bad seed of fanaticism has poisoned you with ignorance and hatred. My sword of light is in my hand. I am the warrior and the king who comes to destroy all that is deplorable, all evil that exists, and all that is false. When my struggle is finished, and the hearts have learned to unite to live and pray, the gaze of your spirit will discover my presence in the infinite light and eternal peace. This is my reign, I will tell you, and I am your king. That is why I exist and why I created you to rule. Clarification about the true life. All men know that I am the Father of all creation, and that the destiny of all beings is in me. Yet I have not received from them their attention nor their respect. They also believe that they too are lords, and they believe they have power over the destinies of their fellow men. Why bow before me? In this way has man tried my patience and defied my justice. I have given him time to find the truth, but he has wanted nothing from me. I came as the Father and was not loved, then came as Master and was not understood. But as it is necessary to save humanity, I come now as Judge. I know that man will rebel against my justice, for neither will he understand me as Judge, and he will say that Elohim has avenged himself. I would wish that all comprehend that Elohim cannot have feelings of revenge, because his love is perfect, nor can he send pain. It is you who attract it through your sin. My divine justice is above your pain, and even above your death. Pain, obstacles, failures, these are the tests that man goes on creating. And as you shall sow, so shall you reap. For me, it is enough in each of these moments of peril to make my light come unto your spirit, so that it reaches its salvation. It is the Spirit of truth that descends to unravel mysteries and reveal to you the knowledge necessary to enjoy true life. It is the divine comfort that is poured out upon your pains to give you testimony that the divine judgment is not punishment nor vengeance, but rather a judgment of love to carry you to the light, to shalom, peace, and to happiness. Know that for he who comes to understand and know something of what is reserved for those who are elevated, that light revealed can no longer be parted from his spirit. Penetrate then the unknown dwelling places, or return again and again to the earth, that which one day you received as a flash of divinity will arise at each step from the most pure of your own being as a presentment, as a sweet awakening, or as a celestial song that will flood your heart with pleasure, as a longing to return to the spiritual mansion. That is what my doctrine means to those spirits that return to this life. The spirit appears to forget its past, but in reality does not lose the knowledge of my teaching. To those who doubt that it is the divine word that speaks to you at this moment and in this form, I tell you that if you do not wish to give me that name, do not wish to attribute this word to the divine master, then take the essence of this lesson, analyze all of its thoughts, and if on contemplating what you have heard, arrive at the conclusion that it contains light and truth for humanity, then take it as a norm for your actions on earth, and with it transform your life. I know that I am giving you true wisdom. What men believe does not change one atom of my truth, but it is necessary for man to have certainty about what he believes, what he knows, and what he loves. Therefore, in my manifestations, I sometimes place myself at the level of humanity, so that they may know me. The concept that men have of me is very limited. Their knowledge of the spiritual, very slight. Their belief, very small. The religions sleep the sleep of centuries without taking any step forward, and when they awaken, it is only to shake themselves internally without daring to break out the fence that they have created with their traditions. It shall be the humble, the poor, the simple, and the ignored who break out of that orbit in search of light, of a pure environment of truth and of progress. It shall be they that ring the bell and raise the cry of alarm when they sense the arrival of the time of my new revelations in the era of spirituality. Humanity wants to discover the mystery of spiritual life, that existence which unavoidably must be entered into, and for that very reason interests them to know. Men question, plead, and ask for light from mercy because they sense the need to prepare themselves. But every answer they get says that the spiritual life is a mystery, and that to try to pull back the veil that covers it is folly and blasphemy. Truly I tell you that those thirsting for truth and light will not find the fountain whose waters calm their thirst in the world. It shall be I who pours forth from the heavens those waters of wisdom that the spirits yearn to drink. I shall spill my fountain of truth over every spirit and over every mind, so that the mysteries are destroyed. For I tell you once again that it is not I who have mysteries for men, but you who create them. If you take into account that Yahudah is infinite and that you are only particles, it is well that there always exists something in your Father that you never discover, but that you do not know who you are in eternity, that you yourselves must be an impenetrable mystery to yourselves, and that you must wait to enter into spiritual life to know it. That is not ordained by me, that in times past you were not spoken to in that form, nor were you given a broad invitation to enter into the light of spiritual knowledge, is true. But it is that in those past times, humanity did not experience the urgent need to know that now it feels, nor was it able spiritually or mentally to understand. If always you were searching and stirring, it was more from curiosity than from a real thirst for light, so that men find the road that leads them to that light, and to be prepared to receive those waters from the fountain of life and wisdom. First, they will have to leave aside all outward worship and erase from their hearts all fanaticism. Once you begin to feel in your hearts the presence of the living and all-powerful Elohim, you shall feel escape from the innermost part of your being, a new prayer, unknown, full of emotion and sincerity, wholly elevated and tender, by which will be the true prayer, revealed by the Spirit. That will be the beginning of your elevation toward the light, the first step on the road to spirituality. If the Spirit can reveal to man the true prayer, it can also reveal to him all the gifts that he possesses, as well as the way to develop and channel them for the path of love. You may find in my manifestation the same teachings as in the second era, but in this era I have come with the light of my Ruach HaKodesh to reveal to you the unfathomable and in communication from spirit to spirit. I will continue revealing new and very great lessons. I shall give you to know all the content of the sixth seal in this stage of revelations, so that you may go on preparing for the time when I shall open the seventh seal. And so you will begin to know the unfathomable, and so you will find that the spiritual valley is the dwelling of all the spirits, the infinite and marvelous mansion that awaits you in the beyond, where you shall receive the reward for the works that you have sown with love and charity among your brothers. The development, the spirituality, and the salvation of mankind. I do not deliver my teachings to you just as a moral restraint for your body, but with it you can attain great elevation toward your spiritual perfection. I do not come to create a new religion among you. This doctrine does not come to deny the existing religions when they are based on my truth. This is a message of divine love for all, a call for all institutions. He who understands the divine purpose and complies with my precepts will feel guided toward the progress and elevation of his spirit. While man does not understand the spirituality which he must have in his life, Shalom will be very far from being a reality in the world. On the other hand, he who complies with my law of love will not fear death nor judgment that awaits his spirit. You should know that it will not be until death reaches you that your Father will judge you, but that the judgment begins as soon as you become aware of your deeds and feel the call of your conscience. My judgment is always upon you. At each step, be it in the human existence or in your spiritual life, you are subject to my judgment. But here in the world, while in the flesh, the spirit becomes insensitive and deaf to the calls of its conscience. I have not come with these revelations only to bring you the shalom of the world and make your suffering lighter with earthly balm. I have come with this manifestation to give you the great lessons that speak of your spiritual evolution. For if I had come merely to give you the goods of the world, truly I say to you, for that it would have sufficed to entrust you to the scientists, whom I would have enlightened by intuition, revealing to them the secrets of nature, so that from there you could take the balms to heal yourselves of your bodily ills. My work comes to show you broader horizons beyond those of your planet, of that infinite number of worlds that surround you, endless horizons that show you the road to eternity that belongs to you. My spiritual doctrine bears various ends or missions. One is to comfort the spirit in its exile, making it understand that Yah formed it and waits eternally for it in his kingdom of shalom. Another is to make him known how many gifts and faculties he has available to reach salvation and elevation or perfection. This word carries the message of spirituality that opens the eyes of men so that they look directly at the reality they think they find only in what they see, in what they touch, or in what they can prove with their human science, without realizing that they are naming reality that which is transitory, and are missing or denying the eternal where true reality exists. Let this message go from nation to nation, from house to house, leaving its seed of light, comfort, and of shalom, so that men stop some moments and concede to their spirits a truce which is indispensable to contemplate, and remember that any instant may be that of his return to the spiritual valley, and that from his works and from what he has sown in the world depends the fruit that he shall harvest upon his entry into spiritual life. My peace be with you.